So now we're going to step out and we're going to look at my profile just as an example, because I can show you a few tools in there. And that way you get the idea, because talking and showing are two different things. So let's stop the share real quick. And we are going to go over here. And I am going to share my LinkedIn profile, which is right here. Okay. So here we are at my profile. And just very quickly, we're going to go through a few of these things. This is an example of a background banner that was customizable via Canva. And again, all of this is in your tip sheet. And with Canva, I think I paid $1. Most of the background banners are free, but for this customizable one, it cost $1. So that's it. My husband took this picture. The picture that was on the advertisement for the 40 plus presentation tonight, my husband took that picture. So the advent of cell phones and the fact that you can crop and change the lighting a little bit, these pictures are very easy to come up with. You by no means need to go out and pay a professional photographer. So a couple of things. When you set up your LinkedIn profile, you may have noticed that at the end of your LinkedIn URL, there's a number. You can go into this pen here and just trim off that number. The reason you want to do that is that you want to be able to put your LinkedIn URL on resumes, cover letters, if you want to do, networking materials like business cards, or you want to have it at the end of your email signature, you want to have that number off of there. And I don't know if this is going to show, but if you click on the pen, let me know if you can see this, but you can trim it right here. Okay. I don't know that that showed, but it's right in the pen. So anyway, then you have your title, such as it is, and you can use emojis. I have a link for how to get emojis into your profile so that you can add a little color. Always remember, the human eye is drawn towards color and imagery. And you can come down here after you've done your 220 characters. That's what you have here. And you can add a skill or, what you add, how you can help people be successful with whatever you're doing for whatever your targeted organizations are. If you have samples, you can even add them. You can even add a link if you have a blog or something like that you want to add. Make sure you put the largest metropolitan area when you're doing a search. You want to cast the broadest net. The fact that Virginia Beach is in Hampton Roads, that's fine about Virginia Beach, but I want to cast a broader net. Same thing if you all are actually living in the Washington, D.C. area, you want to put that rather than Alexandria or maybe Bethesda, as the case may be. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have that. And then, of course, here is where you can have your open to work if you wish to, and choose the kind of roles that you're interested in. Down here, you get to your about section, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But I do want to show you that with LinkedIn, it's really, really important. And this goes for resumes and cover letters too, across the board. You always want to state first thing what you do. It's really, really important. Do not let the reader be guessing. Tell your story. You have 2,600 characters. You don't want this to be a wall of words, because 80% of LinkedIn visitors are going to be visiting on mobile. And we know with the compressed screens, if it's more than a couple of lines, 3, 4 lines, it's going to be a wall of words and they're not going to read it. So you want to keep your story short, talking in the first person, break it up into little groups, and then you can make lists. It's actually, something where you can have a little fun with it and talk about what you specialize in, your achievements. If you know software and I don't know, HTML or whatever, you can make lists of technologies or expertise or whatever it might be, so that it's very easy for the reader to consume this content. Color helps move the eye down, as do emojis. Always finish your about section with a call. to action, or CTA, call to action. Contact me today to learn how I can help you increase operational efficiency, streamline your logistics, increase sales, um, eliminate errors, whatever it is. In my case, I want to let people know that I am, even though I'm a licensed social worker, I'm not providing counseling, so I have this in here. But you make this your own, but you want to add that imagery. All right, then. Continuing on, I have a service page. I'm not going to worry about that because that's a more advanced situation. But this is where I was talking about that if you have a work sample, say you've written white papers or you've written an article, you can take and you can feature all of these things up here. Here, I did a video, PowerPoint, different things that you can feature, but all of these images help to draw people into your profile. And then again, your posts and your activities help there I am right there. Okay. That help pull people in and tell people who you are and what you do. When it comes to your experience, I want to point out that volunteer experience, if it's relevant to what you do or what you're trying to do, it belongs here. This is the perfect example. A couple of years ago, this is where in my in the introduction we talked about uh, a Baltimore-based nonprofit. This place was in business for 11 years, and they finally closed, and they ran out of funding in December of 22. Took down their LinkedIn page. So what I was able to do was take some screenshots. This was our faithful leader, and even though we don't have a LinkedIn page, add visual collateral to those to add interest to the profile. Let me show you how to do that here. You go to your experience. This organization where I do these presentations, they don't have a LinkedIn page either. So how do we overcome that? Because we want that imagery in there. And simply we click on the pen and we go to the area that we're trying to adapt, and we click the pen. And at the bottom of the editing feature, you can upload a screenshot or other images, and you can rearrange the skills simply by dragging them around like that. So you can set them up by priority. So you want to do that. And again, notice this would not be a cut and paste from my resume. Notice that these are quantified, 150 plus participants and how many webinars and answering questions or whatever it was. So you want it to be relevant. I may have done some other things, but we want it to be relevant to whatever we're talking about, which is in this case, coaching and presenting. But you make it your own by adding the things that are relevant to the people who are likely going to be hiring for the roles that are of interest to you. So you go down, and again, the bullets help to add interest, listing the skills that are important, and so on down the line. All right, then. And then we come to the next area, which is our education. I'm not going to spend too much time on education. I would just say there's a lot of debate about dates. I would say if your degree is fairly recent, the last few years, go ahead and put a date on there if you wish. You don't have to. Or if it's older, like I got my master's in social work in 2014, it's like 10, 11 years old now. I took a date off, but that's totally up to you. If you have licenses and certifications, you can put them here. Again, all the licenses and certifications are not required, but they add credence to what you know how to do. And then, of course, other volunteer work that may or may not have to do with your main event, you can add that here, but this all adds interest. But this is the important part when we get down to skills, because this is the last required item. You can see here that from recruiting, I have 75 endorsements. So at a certain point, this 75 is adding weight to the ability that I have with recruiting. If somebody's looking at my profile and they don't know me and they see that I have 75 endorsements, I would think that that might say, hey, she probably knows something about recruiting. So this is where you want to try to seek out those endorsements from people who know you. It's okay to endorse other people, but I give you this caution, only attest and endorse what you have seen. Well, you've witnessed yourself. Recommendations are not required, but again, look at the number of recommendations. It's not required, but it adds credence, it adds weight. So let us go back. There was one other thing I want to show you at the top regarding the top of the profile before we go back to the slides, and that is make sure under this tab here at the top where it says me, make sure that when you come to settings and privacy, that your settings are fully visible to everyone, because there are going to be, I think it's probably few and far between, but there are going to be some people that might search, it might be a hiring manager or something of that sort, that might look and not have a LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that your profile shows up even in a Google search. So you want to make sure that your settings are fully open, not just to connections or people in your network, but are fully public, because you want to make sure that you can be found.